Now crown you the queen of the Canadian direction.
So my first Q&A that I'm going to be doing will be only about One Direction for the Directioners, so if you don't care, bye-bye. Larry Stylinson is what we're all here to know, right? I got a lot of questions. My Twitter blew up yesterday. I don't know why all of a sudden you all started talking about my interview that I did in the summer of 2012 with the guys on their tour here in Canada. It was at the Molson Amphitheater. I did a show called One Day with One Direction where I interviewed them, and everyone was referring to the fact that I asked them about Larry Stylinson, and I asked them if they had kissed before.
The fans wanted me to ask about Larry Stylinson. Now they made that name for you, you two.
They take it really seriously.
They really do. So can you explain this phenomenon?
It's true.
About how serious the fans are really taking?
This is a good...
This is good. Yeah, the fans make... originally I saw that they were making these little fan flicks, which is where they make...
Fan fiction.
Yeah. But then it turned into so many people genuinely thinking me and Harry are in a relationship. When, quite frankly, we just started off just saying that we're really good friends, then everyone said this, and then...
There's a picture that'll be on Twitter next week.
Yeah.
His arm around him.
Yeah, see, this means that we're together.
It does, but haven't you kissed?
No.
Because I thought I saw a picture of you kissing.
Everyone does that. There's one of you and that.
There's someone in the middle, and we're kissing someone who's in the middle, and they cut the person out.
It's good Photoshop.
So I think it's cute how they have, Louis has his arm around Harry. I think they actually address the question pretty normally. I hate to say this, Directioners, but I think sometimes you guys are over-analyzing maybe and over-exaggerating. Now I appreciate the conspiracy theorists that you are, because I'm really into conspiracy theories. I also really don't trust a whole lot of things, and I think everything's pretty much untrue until proven otherwise. So I love that you guys are so ferocious about this, and I love that you think there's a big conspiracy behind with management to hide something. And you know what? I'm not denying that there might not be. I don't know if there is, and there very well could be. But I think when it comes to my interview, I think you guys are overanalyzing how Louis and Harry are reacting. I feel like they look very cool and confident and comfortable with each other, and I think two straight best friends who are guys they touch each other, they hug each other, they bro down. And I think if you're confident with who you are and your sexuality, then you're not afraid to kind of like be affectionate with another straight guy. It doesn't necessarily mean you're bisexual. However, what I would like to say is that there have been gay members of boy bands that have been closeted before, a la Lance Bass of NSYNC or Jonathan Knight of New Kids on the Block. And I thought Howie D was gay, but I think he's married to a woman. Anyway, odds are that perhaps one of the members of One Direction is gay or bisexual, and it's totally fine, right? And I don't know if it's that you guys just want them to say they're gay because you like the idea and you like how progressive it might be to have like a gay couple in a boy band. I don't even know what the fascination is about. I mean, it'd be so cool if there was two gay guys in a boy band who were actually a couple. That would be outrageous. That would be so progressive. That would be something that's never happened before. But do I think that's gonna really happen in the case of One Direction? I don't think so. You guys might want to go to the gayborhood wherever you live and go look for a gay boy band in a bar, in a gay bar, because I'm sure that exists somewhere. And then you'll see tons of making out. So I got a lot of tweets from people saying things like, oh, now the journalists are allowed to talk about Larry or Larry Stylinson. And I don't know what that means. I was never asked to ask about their relationship. I asked because you guys wanted me to ask, and so I did. Also, I'd like to point out, am I not the first interviewer that ever asked them about that? If they had kissed and what the deal is with their relationship, because I think I might be. For the record, management from One Direction has never asked me to stay away from any topic. I think maybe the only thing the label, not management, you have to remember there's two different people. There's their managers and there's their record label, and I would always deal with the record label. The record label may be passing on messages from management, but I never talked to anyone directly from management. And I can't remember, to be honest, in that first interview I ever did at Much Music where we were outside and it was like craziness out on the street, I may have been told not to talk about relationships with their girlfriends. Other than that, I may have only ever gotten a warning like, stay away from their personal lives, which is what I get told for every interview I do, and it's like, what does it even mean? Everyone thinks that they took a break after I asked them that question. I think when you watch the show or the segment on YouTube, there's a commercial break, but that's all edited. Like, that interview's not live, and it all got edited together and cut out of sequence, and so I don't even remember the order in which I asked those questions, but I was sitting with them the whole time. They never took a break after I asked them. I felt like they were really liberal in that interview, and they even wanted me to ask them something more controversial, if you recall. And that's when I did bring up the Larry Stylinson thing. And I actually feel like Harry and Louis handled it well, and it didn't seem fishy to me the way they were handling it in my interview. I think they're genuinely like confused as to why you guys like this romantic relationship between them. If Harry and Louis are together, would you support them? Oh, of course I would. I mean, this would be the story of the year. This would be like crazy news. But I don't think it's gonna happen. What kind of relationship do you think Harry and Louis have? I think that they are really best friends. I think out of all the guys, those two did always seem really close to me, and they did say they were, you know, best friends on the show and they lived together and everything. I don't know where the secret's coming out now, like what you guys are worried about. You're saying they don't appear in interviews together anymore, or that they all get split up as a band to do interviews, but they never put Harry and Louis together. I'll tell you why that might be. So, at the beginning, they wanted them all to be together because they were really new at doing interviews. Now they're too busy and they can't fit as many interviews in unless they split the guys up. This is a really boring answer. So they split the guys up. The strongest speakers in that band are probably Harry, Louis, and Liam, and Niall and Zayn aren't very strong. And so they're probably pairing them up to put a strong speaker with a not so strong speaker. And so that would be why Harry and Louis would get split up in an interview. Sorry, but that's probably the truth. That's just the way it works. So everyone just wants to know my thoughts on Larry Stylinson. Well, I asked the question on behalf of you guys, but I also found it really fascinating because any kind of homoeroticism going on in a boy band like that, I definitely want to ask about it. And like I said in my own interview, I think it's hot when two guys make out, whether they're gay or they're straight.
I think behind closed doors something else goes on.
Well, because girls like to see guys make out with each other.
But really?
Fact.
They do.
I don't think they do.
They do.
Really?
They do. And the fans
because
like
I was
it.
thinking, like, truthfully, if I was a hardcore One Direction fan, a hardcore Harry fan, for example, I wouldn't like the idea of Harry and Louis. I'd want the idea of Harry and me being the fan. Do you know what I mean?
They like that too. I can't even give you the real answer about why.
You like watching guys?
Yeah.
You're into that.
And I can't even explain what it is.
Really? That is...
I like
No,
watching
this
guys
is gonna
make
be your
out.
headline.
Do you mean if you're attracted to one of the guys who's making out? Like, oh, okay.
Yeah, you have to be attracted to the guys. So they like you, so they like, I don't know why we like to see you make out.
I don't know how we got to this point in the conversation.
Yeah,
You said the word controversial and I
You're
just
into watching guys you fancy make out with other guys. Okay.
And so I'm guessing that's what you guys think too, so I hope that you understood what I was getting at there. But maybe instead of fantasizing about Harry and Louis, you guys should just like watch some gay porn or something. The boys left after my interview, like, see you later, bye, bye, bye. When I left the interview, someone from the record label comes running out later, like as I'm leaving the venue, and they go, oh my god, guess what? One of them wants your phone number. And I was like, they do? Who wants my phone number? And then she couldn't tell me who of One Direction wanted my phone number. And I was like, I'm not giving them my phone number, that's crazy, but like find out who it is. Because obviously I'm sort of flattered and I'm thinking maybe it's Harry because I'm like older, like I'm way older than them. And everyone says Harry likes older women. So I was like, if it is Harry, at least it'll be a funny thing I can say that Harry wanted my phone number. I would never give my phone number to them, okay? And I know you're like, what? You're fucking crazy. But like, I don't do that. Like, at the time I had a boyfriend and I also just don't do that. I don't give my numbers to musicians, especially musicians at that level, because I want nothing to do with that lifestyle. So I went to the show with a couple of other people from work, and then the record label asked if we wanted to come hang out with them because we're all friends with the record label reps. So we went to the Ritz-Carlton and hung out with the people from the record label Sony. And then they told us that a couple of the guys were gonna come down and hang out. We were on this back patio at the Ritz-Carlton. And I remember getting out of the cab and there was all these One Direction fans outside the Ritz-Carlton, and I was like, oh God, they're all gonna think I'm a groupie and I'm going to hang out with the band, which is not what I was going to do. I was really going to hang out with my friends from Sony. Now this isn't really dirt, but I'm just gonna tell you what went down that night. Harry was drinking rum and cokes by the second, and he probably drank like 8 in half an hour, and then he went to the bathroom to puke within the hour of showing up. And then he came out and he was fine, and he continued to drink. Niall was drinking. He was drinking Guinness, which is like an Irish beer. And Zayn, I think, was having a couple of drinks, but he wasn't getting pissed. I think Niall and Harry were gonna like get pissed that night. We were talking, and I don't even know, I wasn't really having any like amazing conversations with them. I was actually talking more to my friends, but Zayn kept wanting to show off his new tattoos or something, and his tattoos are kind of awful, I have to admit. They're just like weirdly scattered all over his body, like same as Harry's. Aren't they just like scattered all over? And they don't make any sense, but destroy your body, like you're famous and rich, it doesn't matter. Niall was like kind of trying to flirt with me, and like I remember I was like, I'm gonna go, like really nice to meet you guys and hang out, whatever, like have fun, I'll see you later. And then Niall was like, well, where are you going? Blah blah blah, like wanted me to stay. And I was like, oh, I'm going home. And I was like, he's like, well, why are you going home? Like, who do you have to go home to? And I was like, my boyfriend. And he's like, oh, you have a boyfriend? And then he started getting all weird and like macho and like, oh, you have a boyfriend, like see you later, who cares then? And I was like, I bet you he wanted my phone number, and now that he realizes I'm like, you know, a pretty intelligent human being that's not just gonna like bow down to Niall of One Direction and like say yes to him, that I'm like no good to him anymore. So I kind of feel like, I mean, he's just young. Like every young guy who like can get any girl he wants because he's in a boy band is gonna have attitude when like someone shuts him down, right? So I shut Niall down. That's all I got though. That's all my stories of One Direction. It's all I can tell you. But you know what? I love you guys. The Directioners are amazing. You guys are so passionate. There's never been a fandom like this ever. And I used to be obsessed with New Kids on the Block, so I get it. And I used to be obsessed with so many other bands and artists and guys who sing. The fact that you guys are so dedicated and obsessed is incredible. And you know, I'm not like you really anymore. Like I wouldn't be obsessed with One Direction in the same way that you are, but I'm still obsessed with a lot of stuff, and just keep being obsessed with things. Like never give up that passion. And you know, I'm still a fangirl at heart, and when I get really excited about someone or something, that just like pops back into my body again, and it feels awesome. So never stop being fangirls, okay? Bye. Snickle, who's your favorite One Direction member? Obviously it's Harry.